This week on the premiere episode of The Kid in the Wheelchair, I'm going to be sitting down with my mom and dad, and we're going to be talking about what life was like for them and us as a family when they first received my diagnosis. And we're going to talk about the emotions that they felt, the approaches that they took as parents, some of the hard things, some of the funny things, and all that good stuff. So stick around. It's going to be a great show. You might know me as the kid in the wheelchair because I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy at 18 months old. I'm going to share with you my experience in the healthcare system, growing up different, and what it's like living life on wheels. Alongside some of the people that have had an impact on my world, as well as the world of disability, I'm having those difficult and sometimes ridiculous conversations that reframe the way we think about disability. What's up, guys? Welcome to the premiere episode of The Kid in the Wheelchair. I have a great episode for y'all today. Today, I have my parents with me, and as you heard, we're going to be discussing kind of what it was like for them when they first received my diagnosis, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all that good stuff. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we got Mom and Dad Gilroy. Put your hands together, everybody. Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah, there they are. There they are.
This is us.
There they are. All right. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you being
us.
here.
We had to.
Yeah, I know this is not the easiest thing, but I'm really excited to have y'all here and to do this with all of you and kind of give you a chance to talk about what that was like for you guys.
Well, what was it like?
Raising me, right?
Oh, that.
Yeah, it's something that I think a lot of people have heard out of my mouth for a long time, but they've never had the chance to like actually hear it from you guys. And I think there's a lot of parents out there who have children with disabilities that don't ever get to hear their perspective being told too. So thank you so much for being here. So we're going to start off strong. Maybe we'll touch on how did you guys meet?
At a keg party.
It was a kegger.
At a keg party.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, back in 1984.
I was working the keg, and
He had cool looking
me.
parachute pants on. You know, back in the day, they wore parachute pants.
In the you said this is 1984.
Mm-hmm.
What was like the big song of 1984?
84.
You remember?
No, we're old, John. We don't remember those things.
Oh, okay.
The 80s.
But
Maybe Boy George. I
Boy, George.
can't remember.
Okay.
But I mean, basically, I remember you guys said, was it something like almost like it was set up or no?
Well, it wasn't a setup, but
ZZ Top.
Oh, you finally got an
Maria
answer
gave
for
me the pin.
I did give it. Yeah, that's right.
She went in the grocery store, which was right next to the place that
Where
the party
we were
was.
partying, yeah.
And she bought me a ZZ Top guitar pin.
That's right. I forgot about
Oh,
that.
nice.
I'm like, yeah, baby.
She's a
I'm
winner.
in. I'm in.
I forgot about that.
Got a rocker chick.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so his friend Gary.
Good old Gary.
Yeah.
He was having the keg party in his backyard,
Yep.
down by the creek in Red Oaks Mill, and you.
Yeah, I had a friend who happened to be Gary's cousin, but we didn't know it at the time. And neither one of us wanted to go to this party. It was on Labor Day weekend. But we went anyway. And that's where I saw him in all his glory, pumping the keg in his parachute pants. And I was like, ooh, I got to meet him.
Yeah, I mean, pumping a keg and have parachute pants on.
Yep, give him my best pose.
Nice. there you go. So obviously you guys end up getting married. It was what you got married in 85,
We did that,
right?
yep.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys been married then? Let's see.
38 years.
Yep, 38 years. Happily married for 5.
30. You heard that, folks. You heard that.
I heard it from him.
I'll get in trouble later. All right.
I'll store that one away. For
Yeah,
later.
right?
Yeah.
But so you guys get married. You move into where you live now, and then you have my brother, Dean, older brother. And
No,
then,
we got married. We lived in Poughkeepsie.
Oh, okay. And so you lived
In
in
an apartment.
Poughkeepsie first.
We had an apartment in Poughkeepsie, yeah. Then we moved to right down the road to another apartment. And that's where,
That's where we had your brother.
Oh, okay. And then after that, you moved into where we live
right,
now.
after Dean, then we moved to Pleasant Valley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He was one?
He was only June, July, August.
I think he was one.
He was like, no.
No?
He was less than that. He was still in a baby care. I think he was
Okay.
like 4 months old.
All right.
All right. So you get there and you decide to have another baby, right? Okay. So you're pregnant, Mom, now. You're pregnant. So how did that happen, right?
Where was that?
So during pregnancy, were there any complications during my pregnancy?
No, none. None during pregnancy. Not until the 6th month when my water broke. Unexpectedly. 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So, it turns out what they should have told me was after Dean was born, like 7 months after that, I had to have some sort of surgery. And
Because he was 9 pounds, 10 ounces.
yeah, but it wasn't because. Well, anyway, I had to have surgery, and they wound up taking most of my cervix out, but they didn't tell me that. They should have told me I had an incompetent cervix. I was like, oh, I've never been called incompetent before. But, whatever. It's only my
You
cervix.
didn't hear that from me.
Because nowadays there's things you can do, and I'm sure it was back then too. In '93, they could have sewn it up and prevented premature birth, which was what happened.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and at that point, you're going by what the doctors are telling you. So, if the doctors
Yeah.
are not saying there's anything to worry about,
Watch out for.
why would you even think
precautions or yeah.
why would you even think anything different?
Yeah, it should have been a high risk pregnancy, but
Yeah. So, what was my birth process like? Like, was it what do they call a normal? Was it a normal birth or was?
it was a C-section, and that happened 10 days after. Oh, I was in the hospital for 10 days before I spiked a fever. And they came in, they're like, oh, we have to do an emergency C-section because one of you, either me or you, had some sort of infection. And they wanted to, they didn't want anything to happen to you or me. But a C-section is when they cut your abdomen and pull the baby out.
Yeah, so
That's
a C-section?
that's what I was gonna ask. So for those of us who are listening and watching who don't know what a C-section is, can you tell us what a C-section is?
It's a front row seat for me to watch what's going on.
It really
I was in the C-section.
He was in the C-section. Yeah, they cut your abdomen open and they pull all your organs out this way and that, right?
Yep,
We
everything.
saw it all, I guess.
I know you inside and out. Yep.
And then they
That's got to be.
pull
Yucky.
the baby out, and I didn't even get to see you.
Oh wow.
And then they throw everything back in and
I just hope that
Sew it
everything's
up.
in the right spot.
Yeah. How do you know? How do you even know if they put things back together? Right.
I think
guess
they,
you
they
trust
must have
them
left
since
something
they-
out. I don't know.
They know the anatomy of a.
But
What are you trying to say?
Nothing.
Okay.
But so during the C-section, like was it a smooth thing or did it hurt? Did you?
Well, it didn't really hurt her, but I mean, I had the spinal block and it numbed it and everything, but you could feel tugging
Yeah,
and
she
that
could
freaked
feel it.
me out.
She always wanted to know what was going on. What are you doing now? What are you doing?
Yeah, and the
But,
doctors were like, shut her up.
Yeah.
Give her more of the medication to calm me down.
Wait, so the doctors were just not even really.
The doctors were talking about lunch.
Wait,
Yes.
so
Discussing lunch as they were doing it.
So what I'm basically hearing is that my birth was a lunch topic.
Yeah.
I
lunch.
heard them say something
Lunch
about
break.
ham and cheese on rye.
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that, but it was traumatic for me because I didn't know what the heck was going on.
Yeah, it was almost
Tugging
like
and-
they were just kind of like winging it. Almost kind of felt
Yeah,
like
and then
it.
I found out, I forget how long afterward, that one of the doctors, that was his first premature birth, like
Oh, wow.
first C-section premature birth. Yeah, delivery.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Hopefully his last.
yeah. I mean that's interesting because I mean you really don't know. I get questions a lot like, oh, do you know why you have it? Blah blah blah. Why I have cerebral palsy? It's like you really don't know. There's a lot of different things that could have gone into it. So like, who cares how you got it? You got it. So
You got
So
it.
you
deal
had
with it,
a did you say you had a fever?
I did have a fever.
And then they had that's why they did the C-section.
C-section.
Yeah.
It
So-
could have been while you were inside, or
They're
it
trying to
could have
keep
been
you in
after
there as long as they could.
yeah. Yeah.
But then you
Could
got a
have been
fever.
after
so I
you
can
were
cook
born.
and shit, bake in there. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you were born 3 months early, so you were due in August. You were born in May.
I could
So-
actually almost see it in her stomach.
Oh wow.
That
Really?
line, yeah.
When they were doing the C-section?
No, when they wanted to wait, and as long as they could before they did anything. But then she got the fever. But while she was laying in the bed, you could
Oh,
almost,
like the out in
'cause
her
there was
stomach.
no water. Yeah, everything was.
Oh wow, that's
kinda-
crazy.
Kind of weird, but yeah.
That's almost like
I said, man, he's going to be an ugly kid.
and look what happened, everybody. I mean, that's funny. So after I was pulled out of you, Ma,
Yeah.
so you said they just whisked me away.
They
Where'd they
did.
take me?
To the NICU, the neonatal intensive care unit.
Okay,
Very
so
good.
what is, again, for those people who don't know,
It's a
what
neonatal
is
intensive care unit.
the neonatal intensive care unit?
It's an intensive
For
care
all the
unit
neonatals.
for babies who are just born,
Yeah.
basically.
That's what I said.
Who are born early, or who have some sort of heart defect or some issues going on. Yeah.
So it's basically like an ICU
it's
for
an,
babies.
it's an ICU for neonatal means I think just born or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you? Like, were you able to stay with me in the NICU, or did they not let you stay with me?
They didn't. Families weren't allowed to stay with you.
Yeah.
But we could visit you as often as we wanted
Hey,
to.
you couldn't stay overnight there with it.
No, because you were in your own little
I said it.
incubator, and I had to go back to work.
So did I. Mm-hmm. But we visited. We put
I
on the
came-
white gown, washed our hands, put the hat on.
Yeah, every day at
Shoes.
lunchtime, I would come and feed you. I had to not breastfeed you, but pump it and bring the milk to the NICU. And I would feed you at lunchtime, got to hold you. Your head fit in this little palm.
Oh, wow.
You were teeny tiny, 2 pounds, 7
Size
ounces.
of a baseball.
Wow. So look at the difference.
Yeah, look at it now. Yeah.
Yeah, your head's
Your
rather
glasses
large
barely
now.
fit.
But yeah, you were tiny, 2 pounds, 7 ounces. And, your
And then,
brother
then you
was-
lost your water weight and you
gigantic.
went down to 1 something, right?
Yeah, all babies lose.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's
But
small.
then, yeah, you
losing
went down
that,
to 1
losing
pound
water
something.
weight
That was freaky.
is not good.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. So, yeah, at lunchtime I came and fed you and held you, and we had a little music box in your incubator.
Playing Metallica.
No. Twinkle, twinkle.
Twinkle,
Maybe.
twinkle, little
Twinkle,
Metallica.
little Metallica.
Twinkle, twinkle, little Metallica. It explains a lot.
Twinkle, twinkle. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, and then we'd come back. Well, Dad was at work. He couldn't come and feed you all the time.
Yeah, I worked.
So then at night, we brought the family, Dad and your brother would come.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was that experience like for you, like coming in there? I'm sure there was a lot of like bells and whistles going off all the time.
Constantly. It was full. It was a full NICU. And you weren't sure whose bell was going off, whose bell was, but when we were standing next to you and your bell would go off, We'd be like, hey, over here. And some of the nurses would be like, it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, it's wild because they still do that to this day.
Yeah.
They
You're
just
like,
get
how
so
do you know it's fine?
I
Just
don't
come
know
over and look,
if they know.
please.
They must know what they're doing. But
yeah.
But
You
it's
just get
just weird.
desensitized,
You
you
do.
know, after a while, I guess.
know, but when
You know
it's
the
your
sounds.
kid, you're like, come over and make sure that he's breathing okay.
Yeah.
Make sure nothing is wrong. I don't care if you don't think the bell means something. We do.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So one thing, I remember you told me something wild. That did anybody say anything like wild to you before or after my birth?
Oh, well,
doctors.
when I went into when I was in the waiting room area after they brought me in back, one of the midwives said,
Oh, it was a minute.
I'm so sorry, it's very difficult to lose a child.
And this was before.
Before you were born. So I'm like, I didn't lose a child. He
Wow.
hasn't been born yet. Hello.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I defied death, guys. You see
Yeah.
that? But
She just assumed.
Yeah.
Because you were so early.
yeah, I mean that's kind of like your first taste. You didn't even know that your child was going to have cerebral palsy, but that was like your first taste of doctors just making
Just
assumptions.
making assumptions about whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
So I went straight into the NICU for I think you already said this, but how long was I in the NICU for?
You were there 3 months and 1 day.
Okay.
So
But who's counting?
Yeah, right?
yeah.
And I think actually in the intro, they saw a little picture of me in the NICU with all the wires
Oh
and
yeah, on your
Yeah.
forehead,
cable. I looked like
everywhere,
Frankenstein.
Yeah, you had to have a breathing thing.
A ventilator?
Not a ventilator, but it's
was
an incubator with air. Oh, and tubes and
And
stuff.
the tube, the oxygen going down your throat for a while.
Yeah, that's a ventilator
everywhere.
going down when it goes down your throat. I was on a ventilator. That's crazy.
And then, you looked like a little alien for a while
Yeah.
there.
Mr. Magoo.
Cute little Mr. Magoo alien.
We're gonna have to
Mr. Magoo. My George Magoo.
put a picture of
You
that
ready to
in the
get it?
post because people might not know who Mr. Magoo is. But
Yeah.
you said I was in
Cartoon.
the NICU for 3 months and 1 day, right? You said. Mm-hmm. So when did you finally get to bring me home then?
August 26th.
Okay,
I
and
don't
that's
remember these dates.
that's again. I think they saw a little clip of that in the intro. I'm pretty sure.
With the intro.
Yeah, right. But so when you first brought me home, when did you notice anything after a while, like that something was different with me? Did you notice like any milestones that were being missed, or since I was premature, did the doctors give you anything to look out for?
They gave us a pamphlet
Yeah, the pamphlet.
of what to watch out for. I guess
Back in 1993, that's all you got. Here's a pamphlet.
there's a pamphlet. Since your child was born prematurely, these are things to watch out for. Trying to throw themselves backwards when you're getting them dressed, tight, always stiff and stuff like that. And we did notice that, but
Yeah.
we thought, okay, well, he was 3 months early. Maybe he's just delayed a little bit.
Yeah, just
And since the doctor, you went to every baby visit, just like any other baby.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor didn't know anything. He didn't say anything.
He was passing all the milestones, right?
Yeah.
That's what the doctor said.
The doctor, yeah. And so we didn't have anything. We weren't concerned about anything.
Wow, that's great. So yeah, I mean, it goes again. Like it's the same thing with your birth. I mean, if doctors aren't telling you, you're not even thinking because you're trained like, oh, the doctor says it's fine, so
Yeah, you trust the
whatever.
doctor,
You know.
yeah, yeah.
So when did you first have a doctor say, hey, something might be
Yeah.
going on here?
At your 18th month checkup, your regular doctor wasn't available, so they booked us with another one.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as she got a hold of you, she said, something is wrong. Something's definitely wrong here. And all of his milestones are checked off as though he's done these. Can he sit up?
What?
No, he
so
can't.
so the doctor
Can he crawl? No.
the doctor fudged the record basically.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So she said, all right, you need to immediately get on the ball here, get an MRI, get a diagnosis, get on contact early intervention.
So
Services.
what was the diagnosis that they gave? It was
Cerebral palsy.
from
based on
lack of oxygen.
Bifrontal
Yeah,
atrophy.
bifrontal atrophy based on lack of oxygen.
Yeah. And then so you mentioned early intervention services. So again, for those people listening, watching that don't know, what are early intervention services?
It is usually a county-run program, at least ours was, and they hook you up with, well, first they evaluate you. They evaluate the child. They assess the needs. And in your case, you needed occupational therapy, physical therapy, and they wanted speech
Yeah.
too. But
He didn't need speech.
no, you were blabbermouth way back then, so
Yep.
you could speak very well. So they get you started. They give you a head start. It's early intervention. They try to intervene. They try to give you all the things you need before you hit school age.
Yeah.
Because once you hit school age, the whole process, there's a backlog. So
It's
you wanna-
slower.
Yeah. You want to get things going as soon as possible.
Yeah. So
Get him into early intervention.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're But so
Yeah,
so,
if you're lucky enough to find out before
exactly,
school
right?
age. Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So, I want to know, and this is something where it's. I want you to understand that it's okay to express yourself, because I think these emotions are something that parents watching who might have children with disabilities need to know too. So, what was it like for you as my parents, like when you first received that diagnosis? How did you receive the diagnosis and what it was like? What was it like?
You
The
got a-
doctor actually called me at work.
She got a phone call at work.
I got a call at
That's
work.
crazy.
It was your doctor who fudged the records. And he said, I hate to tell you this, but John has cerebral palsy. And I asked him, I'm like, what? I mean, why didn't you tell us this earlier? I mean, we knew based on what we already do, but I'm like, how come
Yeah.
you fudged the records and stuff?
Exactly.
And he said, well, it's hard to tell parents these things, and I didn't believe in early intervention. And
He
then,
didn't believe in it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, what kind of anyway. And then he's like, oh, anything you need from now on, I'll come to your house. Or, if you need this, you need that. So anyway, I flew into a panic at work, crying. I went into some of the other ladies there, and it felt like a crushing blow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
It was, it was. I don't even know what the right word is.
If you don't mind, was it something like, essentially, when you get ready to have a child, you picture, oh, it's gonna be like this. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna have a child. The child's gonna learn to walk, gonna learn to do X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
and it's gonna follow this same thing. So then, all of a sudden, in that moment, you're just like,
I'm like, oh my God.
holy shit, this is not
Yeah.
gonna be the same. How do I do this?
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for this. Like, this is crazy.
Right. Holy shit is
Yeah, it's like
exactly
you're
how
stunned.
we
You don't know
felt.
what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all I could picture was the worst case scenario, and I couldn't stop crying. And then I called your father, and
I said, "Stop crying. We'll figure this out."
yeah, it was It was hard. I think
Yeah.
I must have cried every day for at least a year.
Yeah.
But then, you know, early intervention was helpful. And then your parental instincts kind of kick in. You're like,
Exactly.
okay, all right, we can figure this out. We just find out what he needs and
Find out what
to
it
the
is.
best of his ability, what he can do and
Exactly.
what we can do to
Yeah.
help. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So early on, did you guys try and find any like support groups or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yes, we joined a support group,
Yeah.
which didn't last very long.
Yeah, no, we went, a couple times.
Yeah, but it was just people just talking about, woe is me.
Yeah,
know?
woe is me, really. It was
I don't know.
not much of a support, but maybe that's what they needed, but we weren't looking for that
Yeah.
kind of
We
setting.
weren't finding out any information or anything like
Yeah.
that. It's all just, yep, you too. Oh, okay, yeah, us too.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. We're like, this is not for us. So,
It wasn't. It
To
was.
us, it felt almost like a pity party,
yeah.
but
It wasn't really action oriented.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I have this child. Okay, what do I do? Like, how can I?
It's everybody just telling everybody's story. And that doesn't, it's good to know,
Yeah.
to get it
was
out
good
there,
for
but
them. But then a lot of them were getting divorced, and it just wasn't the right
a lot of them.
thing for us because
Yeah,
we needed more positivity and more
Right.
Yeah.
what to do.
We're proactive, so.
Not like, we're going to go home cry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because, you touched on it. Those emotions of like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it was-
I didn't sign up for this. This is scary. What do I do? Whoa. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Excuse me.
it's okay to have that, but I think you guys were very proactive, and that's the important thing.
I worked at a hospital, and I went up into the hospital library and got information on cerebral palsy because we didn't know anything about it. I mean, they didn't tell us much.
That's before the internet, so you had to go to the
Before the internet, absolutely. So went to the library, brought some stuff home, and said, "Here we go. Let's check this out."
Yeah.
And,
Look
that's
at
how we learned.
it's from the beginning. So that's kind of like what I was gonna say. It's like, did the doctors really tell you anything about CP, or did you kind of have to learn it along the way? And you kind of already answered that. You kind of had to learn it along the way, right?
Yeah, we learned a lot from early intervention. I remember the woman that first hooked us up, Beverly Allen. She was the best. She's since passed away. There's a bench on the rail trail for her, and every time I pass, I think of everything she did for us. She was a big help. But as far as the doctors were concerned, they didn't really give us much information other than we would say, "Oh, how bad is it going to get?"
Yeah.
Right? That's the first thing you think of when you're diagnosed with something. How bad is it going to get? Oh, it's not a progressive disease. In other words, your CP itself isn't going to get worse, but certain things,
It is a progressive.
Yeah.
certain things that affect you
Yes.
are going to get worse at an earlier age.
Yes.
Like you get arthritis earlier. You really have to stay on top of
Yeah. Like
stretching and all that stuff.
yeah. Because if I don't get stretched, the muscles keep getting
Yeah.
tighter.
Yeah, it's got to be muscle movement
that
or else.
Yes, because you have the spastic kind.
Yeah. Yeah. I got
There is all
spastic.
types. Yes, there is all types.
Yeah. There's lots of different
You
types.
could be really loose, or really tight.
Yeah. I think the loose one's called ataxic.
Ataxing.
I think so.
Ataxic. Yeah.
You can have it in just one hand. You can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, there's all
different types.
all levels.
Yeah.
And
So
we didn't know what we were dealing with in the beginning.
So
we didn't
you kind of touched on this already a little bit, but what were some of your fears or like worries as parents when you're as you're raising me?
Well,
How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? How's this going to happen?
yeah, we had to figure out
things
new
like-
ways to do everything.
Yeah.
We were afraid that the family was going to be different, maybe, because
Yeah.
we were hoping that Dean would have a playmate,
Yeah.
which which you were.
Yeah,
Or, yeah, you guys
just
played a
do
lot
it differently.
together.
You had to do it
Yeah.
differently. And I was worried you wouldn't have any friends,
Yeah.
which turned out not to be true, thank God.
Yeah.
Got too many friends.
Too,
Can you have too many friends?
no.
I guess not.
I was worried about the way people would see you. They judge you without even knowing you.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
that
I mean,
people would take advantage of you.
Yeah, I think that these are all things that even parents of children without disabilities
Absolutely.
worry. But I think it's
compounded.
I think it's heightened when you have the child with a disability, because it's like it's the added dimension of things.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's some of it's unknown still because you're still a little kid. You know.
Exactly. So I did
That's how you look at it.
Did some of that fear
That's true.
get highlighted?
Yeah.
Get highlighted when you were looking for preschools for me? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we started looking for preschools, and the first one they brought us to was not appropriate for you. Like we said before, you loved to talk, and you spoke very well. You
I love to talk.
you could tell everybody what you
Sing.
wanted to sing. Yeah. And the first
It's not
classroom.
that you love to talk. You can't stop talking.
Hey, listen, I love to talk so much that I started a podcast.
There you go.
You were saying?
Yeah, the first classroom they brought us to was a classroom of nonverbal children,
Yeah, that's not working.
which is fine for someone who needs that setting, but it wasn't the right one for you. So we said, no. Mm-mm. And then they brought us to 2 or 3 more, also children with more severe needs than yours. And we said, we need him in a regular preschool setting, please, with an aide.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, this kind of speaks to you as parents. Early on, you know your child, right? You know your child.
Yeah,
and
you just gotta fight for it.
And you're realizing that society kind of has compartmentalized your child.
Yeah, they lump
They put a
everybody
label
in
on
the
you.
same.
Yeah.
They put a label on you and said, "This is what you got to do." And
Yeah.
we're like,
Right.
"That's not going to
Labels.
happen."
Yeah. I mean, so my question, and this is more for you, Dad. Right? Crazy.
Finally, one for you.
Do you think any experiences like from your own childhood kind of helped prepare you for raising a child with a disability?
Yeah. When I was younger, I was cross-eyed, but no, really, I was in the hospital
What's the
because
real story?
when I was in second grade, I was hit by a car.
Oh,
Broke nearly every bone on my left side.
holy crap!
Ironically, right after your first communion.
Right, that's my first communion. Yeah. Where was he? But anyway, so I was in a wheelchair for quite a long time.
Wow.
You know,
So yeah,
racing up and down the hallways of the hospital, and came home. I was in a wheelchair when I came home, so I was in the wheelchair for quite a few months, and I had to learn how to do things. You know, because I had a cast on my arm, cast on my leg, and I was in the wheelchair, and I had to do things different. And I just figured out how to do things, and I used some from that to help you out.
yeah. I
You know?
mean, yeah.
Transferred.
That's wild. How the universe kind of like.
Yeah. Because I
kind
can
of was
see,
like,
I
hey,
know how
listen.
it's hard to put your sock on when you've got a cast on your arm, and you're in a chair.
Exactly.
But
And
there is ways. You have to figure out the way how to do it and keep trying.
exactly. And that kind of actually leads straight into the next question I was going to ask, because obviously I think as parents of a child with a disability, every parent is like, okay, if the child has the ability to do things on their own, and we're going to have to teach them how to do it. We're going to have to teach them how to dress, teach them how to wipe their own ass, all that good stuff. So just basic,
that.
life skills, So did the two of you kind of have disagreements or differences in approach to teaching me those things?
What? Us? Disagreements?
We never disagree. Well, you wouldn't listen to me, John, so I would... Which is normal. When Grandma was trying to teach me piano, no, I wouldn't listen to her. I had to take piano lessons from somebody else. You had to pay for them. But
You learned them.
I would try to teach you how to go to the bathroom, wipe your butt, get dressed a little bit. But Dad was much better at it, and you listened to him.
Yeah.
He...
Because I said, knock it off, do it.
Well, no, you showed him exactly what
Yeah.
to do, and
Yeah.
you were... It took a while.
Do you think the that having to watch me struggle in a way at first because I can't do it the same way that you were each taught how to do it? Do you think that was...
It was hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
It was really hard for me to watch,
Yep.
and hard not to intervene when you were having problems. And deep down I knew, okay, just let him do it. Just he's got to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
But it was very difficult for me.
Not for me, though.
Yeah.
You had a lesser hard time than I did, yeah. So I mean, he would set you up,
Yeah. I mean, and see, this is
and then we'd always be there.
this is the thing is sometimes you have parents when they're teaching their child things like that, they feel like, oh my God, I'm a terrible person because I'm sure, Dad, you probably felt that.
Yeah,
because
it was,
you
it was no fun doing that.
yeah,
I mean,
because you're
but I knew that if you didn't do it yourself, you wouldn't learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody always did it for you. I mean, that's obvious.
yeah. I mean, I remember.
Practice makes perfect.
I remember when I was learning how to dress.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a big one where I used to get so pissed off at you. I hated it because it was.
I stood there and told you
I would
what to
listen
do,
the crying.
I know.
and
Yeah.
I wouldn't help you.
Because I mean, just so everyone knows kind of how it went. You didn't just throw me to the wolves and
No.
say try.
No.
You sat down and was like, okay, here's how you put your leg in here. Here's a way that you can put your arm in your shirt, whatever. You know what I mean? You walked me through those things and then said, okay, I laid everything out. Here's your reacher. Here's, that. Actually,
Have at it.
one of the reachers is right there over
Yeah.
to the side. But, and if you really can't do it, we'll help you. But, you need to try.
Right.
And, I remember sometimes I'd be sitting there for a freaking hour, and,
Trying to do something.
and eventually I would do it. Or if I really did need help, you guys would come help me.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think back to that and I'm like, if I hadn't learned that, I probably would have still been,
you
you
still
know.
would need somebody
And there
else.
was that day I went upstairs and he was all dressed.
yeah. Yep.
I just had to put his shoes on.
Yep. And then, speaking of shoes, later on, my senior year of high school, this is how long, and this is why I'm speaking to the camera, because I want people listening to understand, and I think now I'm going to speak to you guys too as well, is I think something no one tells you as parents is how long things take to learn and for when you're teaching your child with a disability, different life skills, things are going to take longer,
It's repetition.
Exactly.
is
So
key.
I think so it was my senior year and we had OTs coming in and out of the house like revolving doors, right?
Because you were getting ready for college.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I still was having trouble putting my shoes on. And I remember you, Dad, was like,
Me
hold on.
you again.
Let me see you try and put your shoes on, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell me, once you watched me try and put my shoe on, what did you do after that? You went and you built something, right?
Yeah. I built a shoe caddy.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
I guess you could
No.
call that.
That's what
It's
we're calling it
trademark,
now.
It was a
folks.
little spring thing that helped him he would slide his foot right in and pull down and pull on the straps. And
Yeah.
it would pull his
And you
shoe
made it
right
out
on.
of wood, I think.
Made it
Yeah,
out of
made it
wood,
out of wood,
right?
yeah.
First one was
So basically,
Prototype was out of wood.
it was like a thing. It had two side panels and like a slanted thing with springs underneath it.
Well, they were trying to figure out how you could put your shoes on, remember? Mm-hmm. And nobody could figure it out. They had these ideas, and then I made that thing, and then
Yeah.
next time.
And then it slid it right in.
And it slid
And
right
then, and then get this. And then, didn't they try and steal your
Yeah, that's
idea
what I was
like it
gonna
was
say.
their idea?
And they came in the next time when I saw them. They had this plastic thing that was built just like mine, but it was plastic, and like it was their idea. Oh, try this, John. Like what?
And we were like, no, that was my dad's
We let
idea.
it go though
That
because
was
it works,
Daddy's
so
idea.
other kids can use it too now. So
Yeah,
But, you know.
exactly. Hey, listen, once I get rich, we can trademark it and then sell it.
if it isn't already,
There you go, right?
Yeah, by now probably somebody already.
So, we kind of touched on this, but I did also want to talk about the harder times, like as I was older, for you as parents, because we talked about the harder times when I was young, as a young child, where you really, the hard times is like, what's going to happen? How's this going to turn out? Right. And as I get older, I would imagine some of those difficulties and frustrating things change, like, when you're in public, things like that.
Well, when you were little, we worried about like you said that one time. Oh, all the kids are over here.
yeah, everybody's playing over there, and you want to go over there and play. By the time we
Yeah.
got you over there, they were in another area. They moved on to something else. So like, okay, now we got to go over there, and they would move on to something else. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know?
socialization was a big thing.
Yeah.
We wanted you to have friends, and so
Yeah.
we made it a point to have people over. You had lots of
Yeah.
cousins.
So what I did, I would do things that would attract kids to you,
Yeah.
like get you a go-kart,
Yeah.
a recording studio.
Yeah. There you go.
And people,
Little things.
you build it, they will come.
Yeah, exactly. I think,
And as you got older,
yeah.
I know that was your question. I did a backflash.
Yeah, she did backflip.
Yeah.
Sorry. As you got
Moms.
older, I really just worried how, especially in high school, like how accepting would people be of you, and
Yeah.
and then we found out some people were bullying you,
Yeah.
and we really just wanted to
That's
You
what I was
know,
worried about. How are we
just
gonna work that bully thing? Because there's definitely gonna be some.
There's
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
I knew it.
So,
I
So-
told you because from using your walker, you had strong upper body strength. Mm-hmm. I said, next time somebody's bullying you, John, just get close enough to them and grab a hold of them
yeah.
and don't let go.
Yeah.
And I
Did you ever have to do that?
It
guarantee
worked.
you'll start crying.
It worked. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, because you had that conversation. I think I was like 10
Grab his shirt
or
and
11
don't
when
let
I
go.
had that conversation with you, because I had two separate. It wasn't really a conversation what I had with you, Mom, but I had two separate things, I think, that really cemented the way that I viewed myself as a person with a disability, because of the way you as parents kind of taught me about it without like outright teaching
Yeah.
me. Going back early, I remember being 4 years old, playing with my Legos, and I asked you, Mom, the question that every parent was probably dreading, especially having a older brother who doesn't have a disability. You probably knew that this type of question was coming at some point, I asked you, Mom, when am I going to be able to walk like Dean?
Yeah, I remember that.
And it still sticks in my head to this day because you didn't miss a beat. And what you said was, well, you'll never be able to walk like Dean, but Dean will never be able to walk like you. So what that told me was, okay, Dean has his normal. Dean walks without a walker. I walk with a walker. So I have my normal. He has his normal. I'm no better than him.
Yep.
He's no better than me. And we're all, that just is what it is.
Yeah.
You know? And so that was really foundational. And then as I got older, you know, like I said, probably around, 10 or so, then when I had the conversation with you, Dad, and that's when you told me about grab on and don't let go, because
Great advice.
you really told me, listen, there's going to be people that are going to judge you, right?
Right. Yep.
There are going to be people that are going to judge you, look at you differently,
The eyes are going to be staring.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's
really
just something you have to deal with.
Yeah.
That's part of life.
Yeah, the main message, I think, was that, you're different, but not that different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're different, but I mean, you
You just use a walker
There are
and
a
a
lot of
wheelchair. That's all
parallels,
it's different.
a lot of similarities.
Exactly.
You just do things differently.
exactly. Yeah.
Like anybody with a disability. You can do things, you just do them differently.
Yeah. So
Disability.
with that,
Disability?
so with that, I did want to talk about. We've talked about the scary moments, things that scared you, made you that you worried about.
I
wanna talk-
worried you were never going to be able to live on your own.
And look at this, folks. We're recording
Never should have been a worry
in my apartment in front of a live studio audience of the Dust Bunnies under my couch.
But as a parent, you worry. Your mind goes a million miles an hour and all over the place.
Of course, it's natural.
Yeah.
It's her, not me.
Usually it
But
is me.
I do also want to touch on. We've talked about the things that you worried about and all that stuff. I want to talk about the good stuff. I mean, Dad, I know you did touch on we got that go-kart, and one thing I remember was we got those automated cars from Toys R Us. I don't know what they called, like the battery powered cars, whatever.
the remote control?
No.
the one you
the
drove
ones
in?
you sit in.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
yeah,
Jeep.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember.
Yeah.
Like a Barbie car, only it was red.
Yeah,
Cheap and
I remember.
There's a little pin inside there where you can pull that pin and it goes faster.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I remember that it was like, I think it was like only 2 gears or something, and
Yeah,
you
it was
just
really slow.
You took it out. You took that pin out so it could override it. So I actually have
Oh, yes.
a video
The driveway incident.
of of me whipping around
now we know why you don't have your driver's license.
in that thing. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at it.
Let's take a little peek here.
Oh, and look at the file name, Run Over Mom. That's the file name. The file name is Run Over Mom.
First it was the car, now it's
wanna
the
hear this.
wheelchair you're running me over with.
There's Dean. Bam.
Wait, let's get it.
Your brother thought it was really funny.
All right, let's instant replay.
You
Instant
tried to back
replay.
into her again, John.
Look at that.
Well, look, you tried to back into her. Look.
I tried.
You're like following me. Running you over
I
again.
really was. Look at me looking at
I
you.
know.
I was trying to back into
Like,
you.
back away from me.
That's
man.
insane.
Dean's busting up laughing.
Oh my god.
I'm filming the whole thing. I didn't even bother to help.
So that's the
It's like, ouch.
that's one thing. I know
little-
we don't have other
geez.
we don't have other video of like, but I remember, like you said, we got the go-kart, And then
There's a picture of us on it in the intro.
yeah, in the trailer there's a picture. I don't know I don't know if in the picture it's a picture before you put the hand controls on.
Yeah, I put hand controls on it so you can use the brake and the gas pedal because they were both down on your feet and you couldn't use the brake.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
So I put a brake bar.
Ooh, excuse me.
And
I think it was a snake or something, wasn't it?
yeah, the snake head on it with the eyes light up. But you would drive really fast, push on the gas, and pull the brake, and you would spin, do a 360.
Yeah, right?
I taught you that.
Yeah, you taught me how to do 360s, 180s, and then I would always get in trouble because I would break the chain
Yeah.
on the freaking...
Doing
Break the
360,
chain
yeah.
and,
But we had trails behind the barn and everything, and friends would come over and you'd drive them. They were like, John's going to drive? Yeah, he's going to drive. Hop in.
My favorite thing was sitting in it and then going full speed and then stopping, and then I would just talk to somebody,
Yeah.
be talking, and then all of a sudden just floor it out of nowhere, right? Mm-hmm. And they would be so freaked out. It was so much fun. I did have a lot of fun. We
got that at Walmart.
Sam's Club. It was Sam's Club.
It was on
a
top
two-seater Yerf dog. I remember that.
Came in
yeah,
pieces.
Yerf dog.
Came in pieces. We had to put it together.
We did a lot as a family.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean,
we took Dean roller skating and we brought you too. And we're like, why not put him on wheels?
exactly.
Skiing.
I mean,
it wasn't the best idea.
That's what I'm saying is this is why I wanted to share that, because
You went skiing.
we'll get to that. But when we get to because that's important. But when we talk about, remember you talked about how you worried about family, like how's the family dynamic going to change? So you guys really, from what I remember, did what you could to really make everything, level playing.
We wanted to include you both in everything. And so, we went roller skating, we went snow tubing, we went camping. There was one little picture, one video of you in your walker, and you were lifting up one leg and then lifting up the other leg. And I said, "What are you doing, John?" And you said, "I'm ice skating." You were just ice skating in the middle of the living room.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Practicing.
Just things like that.
I remember you, to practice for ice skating, you put me in my walker. Okay, folks, keep in mind, my walker has 4 wheels on it already. And my dad thought it would be funny which it is funny, to put me in roller skates too, to like try out and see if I could do that.
And your stander too. What about your stander? Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So my stander, basically what the stander is, it's a thing, it's got 4 wheels on it. That's the base, right? And then it's got like a
2 bars that come up, and so he stands up in it, and he's all strapped in, so he's in a stand-up position, because it's good for you to be in a stand-up position.
Yeah.
Get your body functions. And he watches TV, plays PlayStation. But anyway, we took it outside and brought it up on the hill.
A big hill.
And he's in it, and I'm standing on the back of it, steering, and we went down the hill. And she was
not
going
happy
crazy.
I mean, I wanted you guys to have fun, but it made me so nervous. And then
It was
I found
dangerous.
out You swept off the driveway.
Yeah, so we don't
the
hit any
little
stones
crumbs, not
because there were
crumbs,
small
the,
wheels.
pebbles.
Pebbles.
Yeah. But it was
That's
pretty
funny.
cool. It was fun.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
We only did it once.
Yeah,
Never did it
did it
again.
once.
No.
Yeah, we only did it once. Once
Yeah.
was enough. We realized how stupid it was
exciting.
after, but it was exciting.
Sure it was.
And then I remember there was we used to go to the batting cages.
Yeah,
because
batting
that was another thing where like
You used to hit pretty good at the
you
kids.
guys tried to like I did Challenger League baseball for a little while, which is basically baseball where the teams are made up of all people with
Right.
disabilities, and they're all different types of disabilities and varying severities. So like after a year in that program, I realized like this is really not for me, because I was
Right.
higher functioning, and it just wasn't a good fit. So
Especially after your brother flipped you on second base
He
in
didn't
Yeah.
his
mean to.
wheelchair.
That was funny.
no, that was a mistake. We forgive you.
Yes, of course we do.
It was pretty funny though.
Yeah. But I mean, so after that, I wanted to see if I could, join a quote unquote like regular little league, and I remember nobody would let me play, even though like you said, I could hit, whatever. So you decided just, okay, we'll take you to the batting cages.
Yeah,
right?
Take you to the batting cages because there's other ways that you can do stuff, and plus you were smart enough. I said, well, learn the game and coach it.
Yeah, and that's what eventually we're gonna touch on that in another pod down the line. So yeah, that really started it up, And then we had the pool where I would spend hours in that thing. I was like a fish,
Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm weightless in the water, so as long as my feet were touching, I could swim in the pool.
Where's that time
you
you
could
almost
get around? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you had to jump in,
I
right?
had to jump in. I just got home from work, and the person that got you off the bus was watching you swim because you were allowed to swim as long as there was an adult there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I sat with the person on the deck, and you were swimming, and all of a sudden you're going up and down and up and down. And then I'm like, oh my God, he's drowning. You couldn't get your footing.
Yeah.
Because you used to jump up and down all the time. Though.
Yeah.
My work clothes on, I'm like jumping in, and
That would have been a
had to pull
terrible
you out.
drowning in 4 feet of water.
Well, you
Yeah.
kids can drown.
I know,
drown in
but I'm
a
just
little bit.
saying, I'm
Anyway,
just
yeah,
saying.
that was terrifying. So after that, we're like, no swimming unless your father or I were there.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. So to just kind of close things out, I want to preface this with, obviously, we're all aware that there are a lot of different, possible diagnoses for things other than cerebral palsy, and even for cerebral palsy, there's a lot of differences.
Yep.
So, with that being said, I just want, do you have just some general advice for parents out there who might be listening or watching that might have a child with a disability or may have just received a diagnosis or may think that their child might have some sort of diagnosis?
Well, my advice would be when you first find out, allow yourself to grieve, to be shocked, to feel pain, inner pain, turmoil, whatever you want to feel.
Absolutely.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Ask questions is big. Ask the doctor questions. Now the internet, you can look up all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Stay up to date and try to find people to relate to.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Just know your child. You know your child better than anybody else. And help them to the best of their ability.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't give up.
Right.
No, don't
Always
give up.
strive for the most that they can do. Not in a bad way, but just, okay, you can't do it this way. Let's do it this way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much
Hey.
for being here. I'm glad that you finally got to kind of tell your story and that people get to hear it.
Yeah, it's important, I think.
Yeah. We touched on a lot of important things. And ladies and gentlemen, in a later episode, I'm not sure if it's going to be the next episode. It might be. My parents are going to be back, and we're going to talk about some of the surgeries that I've had.
boy.
So, exactly, right? Oh,
boy.
So without further ado, again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm so glad that you're here, especially for this premiere episode. This is something really special to me, and so I want to thank you all for tuning in. And don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. All right, I'll see y'all next week. Take care.